Hi everyone, this is Donna from Hollywood, California. It's not just paints, it's art by Donna. And today, I'd like to take you on a journey of creating, healing, and finding peace in imperfection. This week's video is different. It's not one of my usual, everything turns out just the way I envisioned. No, this was not that kind of project. In fact, this one fought me every step of the way. I started out with a plan to do something completely different, but as life would have it, things changed. Sometimes your head and your heart are just not in the same place, and that's exactly where this was this week. I began by painting an old cutting mat, a big one that I've had for years. And I started to cut up some of my beautiful IOD paint inlays. I laid them out, I rearranged them, I tried again and again to make the design flow. Waiting for some flexible molding trim that I had ordered from Amazon to arrive. It was that time that I realized that my heart just was not in this project. Not because I didn't love it, but because I was overwhelmed. So instead, I grabbed something small, a little storage container I had, tucked away from the Dollar Tree when I redid my art studio. And I thought maybe something smaller would be more manageable. I then added a touch of paint to the roller, and I pressed a small paint inlay into that paint, and I let it dry. This is where I decided to speed it up, and I used my heat gun. That was a bad move. So what happened? I burnt the container. So what you see today is not perfection, but it is persistence. And it's me trying to make something beautiful even when life feels a little uncertain. And I share that with you today because I always believe there's a lesson somewhere for me and maybe for someone out there watching too. Sometimes it's not about the perfect outcome. It's about the process and allowing yourself your grace, the grace to be human. Now, to be completely honest with you, you all know that's how I am. It's part of why my heart is not in it this week. It's because I've had a lot going on. We've had a lot going on here at home. A few weeks ago, John had some blood work done, and we found out that his platelets were very low. I mean, really low. Half of what they were on the test before. And while we tried not to worry too much, because we knew we had an appointment scheduled with his heart doctor. But you know, when these things happen, you can't help but worry. For those of you who may not know, John has atrial fibrillation, or AFib. And last year, about a year ago, he had an ablation, and that's where they restart your heart and they get it back into rhythm. And that did work, and his heart is in rhythm. But because of the AFib, you always have to worry about a stroke. So they do keep you on blood thinners, and these blood thinners are for life. And that can affect your platelet levels. And this increases your bleeding risks. So, if that wasn't enough, they also found a little blood in his urine. And we'll get on to that a little later. So it's been a lot to process. And I always believe knowledge is power. And we were very fortunate because his heart doctor sent us to a wonderful, very accomplished doctor over at Cedar Sinai's Schmidt Heart Institute, who explains everything very clearly and compassionately. And I'm going to explain a little bit about this to you. And this is called the Watchman. And for those of you who haven't heard of it before, let me explain in simple terms. The Watchman is a small, umbrella-shaped device that they place inside the heart. It's in an area called the left atrial appendage, and this is where the blood tends to collect and form clots in people with AFib. Now, this Watchman works like a little shield. It seals off that pocket so clots can't escape into the bloodstream and cause a stroke. The amazing thing is that once it's in place and heals over, many people stop taking blood thinners altogether. It's like giving the heart a gentle guardian, a little peace of mind in a very important place. And John is a perfect candidate for this procedure, and we scheduled it for next Thursday. The doctor answered all our questions, even before I had a chance to ask them. And for me, that brought a calm I can't quite describe. It reminds me that sometimes we can be so strong for others that we forget how to breathe ourselves. And that's what this week has been all about, taking that breath. We actually went to the urology appointment on Friday, and what a blessing that turns out to be. We met a lovely new doctor in Century City, and his staff was wonderful, warm, kind, and reassuring. And wouldn't you know it, his mom was from Brooklyn, not far from where we lived years ago. I always say the world gets smaller and smaller, and it's those little moments of connection that remind us we're never as far apart as we think. After the Watchman is placed and John is healed, he'll be doing some additional testing, but for now, we're all good, and we're truly grateful. We've had some other medical concerns in the background, things we're still watching closely. When the time feels right, we'll share that too, because I believe honesty and transparency helps others who may be facing similar battles. But I also understand that not everyone feels that way, and that's okay too. Some people choose to keep their struggles private, and I love and respect them for that. We all process life differently. We all cope in our own way. For John and I, this is what we felt was right, to share our journey openly, to talk about it honestly, and maybe in doing so, let someone else out there know they're not alone. Now, you may also understand why I have not been around quite as much as I usually am. I may be missing here and there, but I'll keep up as best as I can, and I will be doing my weekly videos, trying to bring you inspiration, stories, and life experiences from the heart. But I also need to give myself permission to slow down when life calls for it. After next week's procedure, we know there's still a road ahead. Healing takes time. There's already a CAT scan scheduled for early in December. Our collaboration is still going on. We are strong, we're resilient, and we have 50 beautiful years of marriage behind us. 50 years of walking hand in hand through every season life has given us. And we'll walk through this one together too. So when I look at this container that I worked on with these paint inlays that didn't quite line up its scorched spot from my impatience and all the imperfections, I realize it represents exactly what life looks like sometimes. Not perfect, not polished, but still full of meaning, because behind every project there's a person. And this week, that person needed to pause, regroup, and remember that art isn't about perfection, it's about honesty. So today's project, though it may not be my favorite creation, it will forever remind me that what truly matters is love, health, resilience, and honesty. Sometimes life reminds us to slow down and just create with the heart we have at the moment. I start this piece with one idea in mind and ends up somewhere completely different. A little burnt, a little imperfect, but full of honesty and heart. It's not my favorite project, but it's real, and I believe there's always something to learn in that. In the end, I decided this little container will hold all my extra pieces of IOD paint inlays, those small bits that can be used 2 or 3 or times over again. It will always remind me that nothing is ever wasted, not our efforts, not our lessons, and certainly not our love for creating. To my fellow creators joining the collaboration, thank you for bringing your light. To my members and subscribers, thank you for walking beside me on this journey. And to my sweet husband, John, as you get ready for this next chapter, know that I'm by your side, and so is an entire community of hearts sending you love, light, and healing energy your way. This is Donna from Hollywood, California, signing off with love, light, peace, harmony, and oneness. I Should Craft a Kids Club will be following this trailer. Grace, and rejoice with those who have overcome and found healing. In this video, you'll see our wall of names, each one representing a life, a story, and a reason why awareness and compassion matter. Please consider donating if you can. Together we create a purpose we remember with love, and we stand united beyond the ribbon. This is an Art by Donna collaboration. With love, light, and pink. Beyond the ribbon. Please take a moment and really look at these names. These are the warriors. See you there.